It rises every morning, and so do we. With fresh perspectives and innovative ideas, we grow trust for our clients in food and agriculture, in their products, processes, people, and brands. It's all we do, and we do it like no one else can. It's a new day in food and agriculture, with new challenges and bright possibilities. When you need someone you can count on, look east.
Hi, this is Philip Brasher, Senior Editor at Agri-Pulse with Sara, Wyant, President and Editor at Agri-Pulse, and we're here with Washington Week in Review, this time from Philadelphia, and the Democratic National Convention is wrapping up this week. And Sara, we have, as we've talked about all week, and we talked about last week after the Republican convention, the rural areas are really shaping up, and agriculture really shaping up to be critical in this election, and especially in some key battleground states like Iowa, here in Pennsylvania, also next door in Ohio and North Carolina and some other areas. And so both parties are putting some emphasis on that. Sara, you went, attended one of our rural caucus meetings that the party had early on in the convention. What did you pick up there?
Well, Phil, as you mentioned, the Rural Council meeting was held on Tuesday afternoon and had kind of an all-star lineup. Senator Tester from Montana was there, Senator Heitkamp from North Dakota, and former member Earl Pomeroy, National Farmers Union President Roger Johnson, and that's just to name a few that kicked off. They talked about how rural areas really need to understand the crucial role that Democrats have played since really FDR in making rural America a great place to live, and all the good things that have been done, including the last farm bill under the leadership of Senator Debbie Stabenow, and on about how it would be really simple, as Senator Heitkamp said, for rural Americans and farmers in general to embrace Democrats. But it's not happening, and she expressed a lot of frustration. She kept saying we can't have a 90-10 sort of situation where we miss out on the rural votes for the Democrats, and you could sense that there was a real frustration of trying to get more people in agriculture and rural to really embrace the Democratic message.
Right. What did they have us? Did you get a sense of what issues or what the magic bullet was for pulling that rural vote back in?
Well, a lot of it comes down to just the everyday things that Hillary Clinton, for example, has pledged: infrastructure development in rural hospitals, healthcare, daycare, water, sewer infrastructure issues, better roads. But as you know, the one thing that Senator Heitkamp mentioned has been really a concern for a lot of people in agriculture has been on the regulatory front, and she acknowledged that. But she also said that there's a lot of good things, including in the farm bill, that she thinks that Democrats should be getting credit for, and they're not. So as much as those members are going to continue to be cheerleaders, I think what we also saw was a big message from Secretary Vilsack this week along the same lines, and you covered his speech.
That's right. Secretary Vilsack is, if there's a magic bullet, it's got to be Secretary Vilsack, and he was all over Philadelphia this week. Now, he wasn't picked to be Secretary Clinton's running mate. He may have a big role in a Clinton White House nonetheless. But this week he was all over town at a number of events talking about the importance of the rural vote. And there was one particular event where he made a particularly strong case, and he said it's just vital for Democrats and for up and down the ballot, but particularly in the presidential race, to hold down the Republican margin. He didn't talk about carrying these areas, but he said we just can't afford, as the point that I believe Senator Heitkamp made, we can't afford to lose 90-10 or 80-20 or 70-30. We've got to hold down that Republican margin. And as we heard last week in Cleveland, the Republicans are going to put a priority, and certainly the Trump campaign on running up the score, so to speak, in rural areas.
And we also heard that same message from Pennsylvania Secretary of Agriculture Russell Redding, and you can find another video with an interview with Russell Redding on our site, and his concerns about how the urban areas and the suburban collar areas, for example, around Philadelphia, are likely to go for Hillary Clinton. But the concern about some of these areas where jobs have been lost, agriculture is not as profitable as it once was, and people don't have a place to even get a second income, really struggling families throughout parts of Pennsylvania, that may be a big cause for concern for the Democrats in this swing state.
Right. And as we go away and leave the convention here, it's got to be said that I think the Democrats still have a number of struggles. And it's a big open question whether they really will put the emphasis, whether Secretary Clinton will put the real focus on rural areas. That was sort of pointed out here on the final day. They scheduled the second of the two rural caucus meetings on Tuesday afternoon, a couple of hours before the convention session was going to start. Governor Howard Dean, former Governor Howard Dean from Vermont, was all set to speak, along with a number of party leaders from major states. They abruptly announced that they were canceling it. Said the party wanted everybody to get to the convention site, and they were worried about them getting there. Talked to some folks just afterwards, and one of the delegates said, this is indicative of the problem. We feel like the National Party has written us off, have written off rural areas, and the fact that they scheduled that at 2 o'clock and then canceled it, at least for this delegate, just illustrated that they still have a long way to go.
That's right. I mean, there wasn't a huge turnout on Tuesday when they had the first one that I attended, but today on Thursday to even cancel it had to be frustrating for those folks. Yeah. But we should recognize that there was a great turnout for the ag leaders of America, really the Democratic reception celebrating agriculture at the Union League Club on Tuesday night. It was a wonderful affair in a really nicely decorated room. Not only Secretary Redding, but Secretary Vilsack addressed the group, and it was really a who's who of people who are leading trade organizations and supporting this campaign for Hillary Clinton. We've got some photos that are up on our Facebook page, so
and
go
Secretary
to Agri-Pulse.
Vilsack stayed around for quite a while.
He did.
Even as former President Clinton was speaking on screens, high definition screens in the background.
Well, and I suppose that's because he already knew he had the A-list seat the next night, right next to Bill Clinton, right, the former president. So, anyway, it's been a great week here in Philadelphia, and Phil, you've been covering this every day in Daybreak and letting everybody know what's happened, and we're really looking forward to capping off a tremendous week of visiting with people and trying to understand how Democrats are going to move forward with their outreach on the rural vote.
Right. Well, that's it for Washington Week in Review from Philadelphia. We'll be back in September when Congress returns from this long convention and August recess. Thank you.